After a billion-dollar hailstorm hits an area, your focus should be on running your business, not on insurance claims. We have helped streamline the insurance process for hundreds of roofing contractors across the U.S., and we can do it for yours too. Visit us online at c3adjusters.com and learn how we can help you save time and get claims paid faster.
Good afternoon, everybody. It is 3 o'clock here in Oklahoma City, and we're doing a forecast video again, updating on Hurricane Florence, and also a little tidbit into the hail potential that is ongoing right now. And of course, is all sponsored by C3 Group. Just saw their commercial. Go check them out in the description below here on our Facebook page. And if you're not watching us on Facebook, well, why aren't you liking us on Facebook? Go like C3 Group on Facebook as well. And with that, make sure you guys download the app. We will be doing live coverage of Hurricane Florence as she comes closer to the coast and, of course, is making landfall. Don't want to miss any of that. And if you're on the app doing other work, hit that lightning bolt lower right-hand corner of the screen, and it brings up the video. You can work and listen and kind of half watch. And if you want to watch it in its entirety, you can go into full screen mode if you are more interested in seeing the video in its glorious full screen. And of course, notification options on your Hailtrace account, your desktop computer, notification settings. You can set it up, those push notifications for on your app or on your email or on your desktop computer, and that can be for cities, states, or the entire country, and other countries like Canada and Australia. Before we get into our coverage on Florence here, we're going to just make sure I throw on the hail forecast today. We've got two little areas we're looking at. We actually are mapping a storm right now in South Dakota. 2% chance, maybe up to some ping pong ball size hail across pure South Dakota. It's the only real population center in the risk today. And you could see some ping pong ball size hail maximum in eastern section of the very rural New Mexico. Not really a big deal. Couple storms here or there, and it should be winding down pretty quickly this evening. The big story, of course, is Hurricane Florence. This was from the 11 a.m. advisory. We should be getting another advisory in the next hour or so. Likely going to be strengthening. The 11 a.m. advisory had Florence as a minimal hurricane. She is rapidly intensifying, most likely by this time tomorrow, a major hurricane, and we see she will be making landfall, likely somewhere around Wilmington, North Carolina, is what we're looking at right now. Things shift just a tiny bit to the north, and likely a Category 4 hurricane at landfall here. So it's going to be a pretty intense storm, probably a pretty intense storm surge, a lot of wind, a lot of rain, and she's also most likely going to stall out over Virginia, and that's going to cause a whole host of other problems with crazy amounts of flooding similar to that of Harvey, just not on a top 5 major city. So going a little deeper here, here is our satellite update. You can see around the center of Florence, explosive amounts of convection there. She is really strengthening. When you see all that convection all around the center, all those clouds exploding up, means there's a lot of strengthening going on, and she will likely at the next update is going to be at least a Category 2 hurricane, and then probably by a major by tomorrow morning and into the afternoon. So with that, you can also look on the infrared. You can see all those reds here really showing a whole bunch of really intense strengthening going on. Will it hit Fort Mill, South Carolina? Asks Cheryl. I'm not 100% sure where Fort Mill, South Carolina is. We will get into our forecast for where the eye wall is expected to make landfall. I think anyone from Charleston, South Carolina, up through the Outer Banks in North Carolina need to be watching extremely carefully. I think there will be landfall somewhere within that range. Recon drones showing in here. Pressure down, they found at 984 at the lowest. So pressure is dropping, storm strengthening, winds are increasing. Basically, more and more strengthening as we're expecting. And with the models, they are showing, a couple models are showing Florence not really strengthening that much. I'm willing to throw those out right about now with the amount of strengthening that's occurring right now. Oh, by Charlotte, There will be impacts, yes, by Charlotte. It's not going to be anywhere near as intense as it is on the coast. We will get, once we get a little closer, I can start getting inland impact potential. We're quite a few days out, so I'm not doing anything beyond just where we're kind of expecting landfall, and then from there we'll kind of build off of that. But anyway, most of the models are showing up to a Category 4. Would not be shocked if we kiss Category 5 just for a minute or two, or for an advisory or two before landfall. She can really explode. It's kind of hard to say with hurricanes. Rapid intensification is probably one of the hardest things to forecast. So we're just kind of betting on probably a strong Category 4 in the Atlantic, and that is bad news for North Carolina and South Carolina. Here is what the GFS, this is the American Model Suite. So this is where I have in the title A Tale of Two Models. The two major computer models are kind of fighting it out right now. The American model is doing some real wonky stuff where Florence will get close to the Outer Banks and then just stop dead in its tracks, spin around a little bit, and then go up into Nova Scotia, which raises a lot of eyebrows. That seems kind of strange. Also of note that we have Florence is kind of still drifting a little bit southwest, so we're going a little further south from where the GFS, the American model, has, which really kind of puts into question why the American model keeps doing this. And here is the European model, and we have a much wider spread here, but it's really kind of focused in on near the North Carolina, South Carolina border, so between Myrtle Beach and like Morehead City, North Carolina, where most of the landfalls are at. Some of them are showing it getting closer towards the Outer Banks, and there's even a few that get as far south as the central Georgia coast. So anywhere in South Carolina, you guys are still at risk if you're any of those coastal cities. Obviously, coastal North Carolina, you guys really need to get your disaster plans in place. Things are probably going to get kind of dicey by Thursday. That's one of the things really going to get bad. I think probably there will be some evacuations probably from the Outer Banks by Wednesday, and low-lying areas in like Wilmington and stuff probably by Wednesday evening. So, and these are the other global models, and it really shows the two difference. These are all derived, so there's models that take the GFS as a base and then do their own stuff with it, and they all have them just kind of spinning around on the coast here. And then all the ones that are based off of the European model have them crushing near Wilmington, North Carolina. So my personal opinion, we're sticking much more with the European model. The European model has been much more consistent. The American model has been all over the place. And just from the past, the European model, when it latches on to something 8-9 days out and just doesn't change its mind, it usually ends up being what happens, versus the American model that does all kind of crazy stuff, and then about 4 days out goes, okay, yeah, I guess what the European is thinking is what's going to actually happen. Hurricane Sandy was a good example of this. So we're really expecting a landfall, pretty high percentage chance of a landfall now. And this is my landfall chances map. You saw this yesterday. I made an update here, 5%. I have removed Jacksonville, Florida, and I've honestly removed most of Georgia as well. I have from basically Savannah up through Virginia Beach, and then I narrow it down a little bit more here into from about Charleston to the upper sections of the Outer Banks, and then I narrowed in even more from south of Myrtle Beach up through about Morehead City, and then even more from that, I'd say about 40% chance now we'll see a landfalling somewhere in the realm of Wilmington, North Carolina, and probably only about a 15, 20, maybe 20% chance of no landfall at all. So things are getting a much higher chances of seeing a landfall with this. Oops, I don't want to do that. Now I'm going to switch over. I'm going to show you guys some other stuff here. Starting with, I'll show you exactly what the American model is showing, the operational run, the main run of it. Oops, let me actually click on this here, guys. And we run through storm here, and by about Wednesday evening, I think things will start going downhill, and then by Thursday evening we'll see landfall. American model right now, you see it, just the big low. This is here is Florence here, just hangs out, which is a little silly, loops around and then crashes into Nova Scotia. as the pressure gets down to some ridiculously low levels here, 914 millibars would be a Category 5 hurricane, which would be, there's a lot in this particular model that, as a meteorologist, raises questions of, like, I think it kind of defies physics a little bit, and it's really just coming down to there's high pressures in place up here that's going to block, like, Connecticut from getting anything from it, for example, but I don't think it's going to stop a hurricane dead in its tracks offshore like this. The chances of that are pretty low. The more likely solution here is the most recent European model run. And we run through this and watch as Florence comes on shore and really just crashes into the coast here as a, again, likely Category 4 hurricane. If I had to make an estimate, I'd say winds between 140 and 145 miles per hour sustained as maximum intensity. There's going to be big time storm surge. And with that, I have a storm surge map up here. So this is for Category 4 hurricanes. Everywhere in red would be underwater. Here across Wilmington, all the little beach areas and pretty close to the coast here. There'll probably be some pretty intense storm surge from this. This whole area is pretty low lying and very swampy. So the whole entirety of the Outer Banks is probably going to get submerged from the storm surge. So maybe we'll see how big Florence gets, how strong Florence gets, but I wouldn't be surprised you start seeing some Katrina comparisons in terms of storm surge potential. It's very possible with how big the storm will be and how strong she'll be in the direction that Florence will be coming from too, coming from the east due west. It's a lot of water getting pushed on the coast. So for a chasing perspective here, we're making sure we find very sturdy structures, parking garages where we can get some elevation. We'll do our best to be very safe with all this coming up, even down towards Myrtle Beach. If the storm impacted to the south of Myrtle Beach, a lot of Myrtle Beach would get submerged underwater as well. A lot of red in there. That's not good news. And then after that, some stalling. We could see multiple feet of rainfall in Virginia, and that could also be very bad. A meteorologist I follow said this could be the worst natural disaster in the Carolinas' history. I mean, it's a bold statement this far out, but mixed in with a Category 4 direct hit over somewhere where there is quite a bit of population, mixed in with multiple days of very heavy rain, it could be pretty catastrophic. But don't want to throw that out too much, but yes, there is a chance for some pretty bad impacts. Are you going? Yes, myself, Derek, and Frank will all be heading out there probably tomorrow, a couple-day-long journey. We want to get there ahead of time enough to scout out some locations, obviously the safety precautions in place. We don't mess around with this kind of stuff. We do everything we can to make sure we are never in any real danger. So with that, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. If anyone else has any other questions, I'll answer them for you. And if not, I'll see you again tomorrow, probably at our usual time, about 12 o'clock, for our daily hail forecasts or more just tropical update stuff. I may be on the green screen, may not, depends on when we leave. And if we're in the truck, whatever. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your Sunday. I'll see you again tomorrow with another update here regarding Hurricane Florence. Any other crazier updates, we'll probably post them directly on our Facebook page. So make sure you follow us and hit see first. Everything pops up top in the newsfeed, superseding the algorithm that Facebook has. Not hail algorithm. The Facebook algorithm that kind of filters out some pages. And you can call us, email us, or visit our website at hailtrace.com and all the other contact information here on the screen. And I will see you again tomorrow, ideally at 12 p.m. here on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, wherever you're watching us from. Share this video, give it a like, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. I'll talk to you later.